The Extron.
Bert Weston is not the kind of man to make up stories. He lives on his own, does community work, and carries the vivid memory of that night way back in the 1920s.
To some of us, in later life, comes nagging thoughts of things we did, things we didn't do, or help we should have given and didn't give. How could I explain, or how could I tell people the story of a figure that appeared in the moonlight and then scared the wits out of horses and out of me, and then dissolved, disappeared? The local verdict would be plain. In a country district, I'd done the unspeakable thing of galloping away from a call for help. Back in those days, in my early 20s,
my hobby was riding jumping horses at country shows. This night, I was heading home from a show on the southern tablelands. The air was clear and the night felt good. When we came to a small creek, I dismounted to let the horses take some water, and I walked around them, a little upstream. I remember the water was pure, and especially that it was icy cold. I would recall how cold it was later, when I had to reassure myself I'd been wide awake during the events of this night. It was also a night of a full moon, and as the moon rose higher in the sky, it flooded the countryside with brightness. As I remounted, I sensed the horses were as keen and as happy as I that we were heading home. It had been a long day. As I came up out of the creek, I noticed a homestead, Dingo Creek. It was familiar, and I remembered passing this place earlier on my way out to the show. It was about then that I saw it, the figure of a man hurrying down from the farmhouse. There was something strange about the way he looked and moved, waving to get my attention. It was odd in that he was wearing a funny old white helmet, the ones they call tiger shooters, and he had a white beard, white shirt, and an old waistcoat that was flapping open. Then, just as suddenly, he disappeared behind a tree by the shed. His waving had seemed urgent, but when I went behind the shed to find him, he was gone. There was a couple of stockyards there, and I made my way to the fence. But there was no sign of him here either. There was just a bull. It seemed peaceful enough at this point, but the old man vanished. Where? Where are you? Jesus. Suddenly, everything was crazed confusion. I could hear cries for help. A woman calling from the veranda. The horses bolting away. The bull charging. It was chaos, and I panicked. I was scared. I just wanted to get out of there.
Help me! Help!
And before midnight, we reached the township, and soon after, we were the horses safely in the stables, and I was in bed.
As mysterious, bizarre, otherworldly as the event you have just witnessed might appear, I should remind you that Bert Weston is a real man who was in this real room on that very real night on the 16th of May 1923, some 70 years ago.
Next morning, in the light of day, the terrifying events of the night didn't seem so bad, but I was puzzled. I thought I'd
find out something that might explain what had happened. I had a terrible feeling that I had failed someone the night before.
Have a beer, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
The men were talking about a farmer named Jack Hearn who had a property,
They call Dingo Creek.
and my heart froze. I tried to stay calm as I heard how that afternoon Hearn had gone to feed his bull. Something had gone wrong. The bull had charged and gored him.
Yeah, got him in the belly.
You can't get careless with new bulls.
No.
Hearn had crawled to the house and collapsed in front of his wife, Lara. There was nobody there to help.
Yeah, he's bleeding real bad. Not much Laura could do for him.
Then they talked about an unknown horseman arriving. Me. I was the unknown horseman. And how, when called to help, I'd ridden off into the darkness.
And the horseman took off at full belt.
This morning the bull was gone.
Jack died around midnight.
Dear God. But who was the ghostly old man?
Told me about
Could I have imagined that?
I knew Jack well. I knew his father as well, old Frank. Funny old chap. Used to wear this old tiger shooting helmet. I remember the straggly beard he had. And he used to always wear this old waistcoat. I think he slept in the thing. Funny thing is, exactly 20 years ago, he was killed in those same yards.
Though I would never have all the answers to that night, I came to believe what happened to me at Dingo Creek. I stumbled onto a farm where a man lay dying, his wife crying for help, a plea from a father who had died 20 years earlier. I panicked, because in my heart I knew I'd seen a ghost. The local verdict would be plain.
In a country district, I'd done the unspeakable thing of galloping away from a call for help. I'll never forget that night. I can still see it as bright as day. There are things that one should have done, things that one should not have done. Help one should have given and didn't. I could have done better.